Onyx Storm, this one I just couldn't get through. I didn't expect to like it. It's going in one eye and out the other. I'm going to be tier ranking all the books that I've read this year, which is about 40. It's not that many. I know there are some people out there reading like 80 books a year, which I aspire to be like you, because my to-read list is 180 books long. I'll quickly go over the ranking system that I've made. At the top we have Roman Empire. This is like those 5-star books on Goodreads that deserve to be a 6. Like the ones that you just think about all the time. Below that is Thoroughly Enjoyed It, which are, you know, your basic 5 stars. Just Something's Missing is, to me, those like 4-star books that had 1 or 2 elements that were just not right or they weren't there. So that's what that is. Very average, it's just your mid-average 3-star rating. Gave me Memory Loss. These are like the books that you try to recall what they were about, but you just can't remember because they were so bad. So that's what Gave Me Memory Loss is. Why did I try reading that? Why did I try? It was just not good. And then below that we have Did Not Finish. Okay, I don't know how to do this. I've never done this before. So the first book I'm going to say is Power of Positive Thinking. This was a book I did not finish. I couldn't get through like any further than like 1 or 2 chapters. Next, this might be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I really did not like Red Rising to the point where I just didn't finish it. Please don't hate me. I really had to force my way through. I don't like the thought of too much desert. Like when there's a lot of desert in a book, I can't read it. Is that weird? I don't know. Next, we've got the Atlas 6. That I thoroughly enjoyed. That was surprisingly a 5 stars. I initially started reading it and I was kind of thinking I wasn't gonna like it, but I actually liked the whole premise behind it and it was very interesting. I was engaged through the whole thing. However, I did just stop at book 1 because I've heard that books after book 1, they just kind of go downhill and I didn't want to ruin that. Didn't want to ruin the good vibes of the first one, so that's the only one I've read. Defining Decade. This is another self-help book. It's very rare I give a 5 stars to a self-help book, and this one was okay. It was very relevant because obviously I'm in my 20s and it had some good points, but I think it was missing some stuff, or it could have just been like compacted a little more into like an article. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Next, Grit. This book, I didn't even finish it. This book, I really struggle to finish self-help books. This one I just couldn't get through. It's one of those books that like you're trying to like read whatever's like on the page, but the words are just like going through and over your head. Like it's going in one eye and out the other. Onyx Storm. This is my Roman Empire. I feel like this series is low-key a bit like controversial, or like some people love it or they hate it, and I really liked Onyx Storm. I think I preferred it more than Iron Flame. Iron Flame was a little bit boring for me. Onyx Storm I really like because it's like you're exploring the new islands and I love the plot twists. Like Onyx Storm was good. Onyx Storm was good. I think about it often and I'm very excited for the last book. Timber's a part of the Hades series. This book is saucy. It's a reverse harem. It's very mafia. Like the main character is a bad bitch. She's got her shit together. She knows how to fight. Overall, the series, because this is the last book in the series, I finished it at the beginning of the year. Overall, the series, I would give like a 4 or 5 stars. I really liked the character growth and the plot twists throughout the whole series. However, it was a bit intense in a few areas, both romantically and also just violence-wise. So I would say it's just missing something, which it's not really missing something, but it's missing like a little bit of a factor to make it a 5 stars, I guess. I think I need to change that tier name because just missing something doesn't feel right. We'll leave it like that for now. Meet Me Halfway, this book, I'm pretty sure I gave it a 4 stars and I honestly still feel that way about it. So I'll put it in just missing something. It definitely is missing something because it's not like super memorable to the point where I'm like, oh my god, this is such a good 5 stars, but it's not a 5 stars and it's definitely not a 3. And like, I like the characters in it. Yeah, it was okay. It was good. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not very good at this, guys. This is new to me. Okay, The Inheritance Games. I didn't like this series at all. Overall, the series, I would probably give it like a 2 stars. However, the first book, I did thoroughly enjoy it, but it wasn't like okay, I've changed the tier ranking a little bit because I think I'm confusing myself with the names that I've given. I should have just done like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would have made it so much easier. I've changed the second to the top as to freaking loved it, because I did. Those are like the books that I loved. And then underneath that is quite enjoyable. And those books are probably the ones that will be missing something. I think that's a better way to put it. But yes, back to the Inheritance Games. The first one was really good. Like, I really enjoyed the concept behind it, and it was like all really new and exciting, which is why I found it quite enjoyable. However, there was a lot of like repetitive moments or just bits that just felt a little bit boring. And I feel like the next 2 books just went downhill from there. So the second one was extremely average. Like, it just felt very repetitive from the first one. And then honestly, that last one really gave me memory loss. The whole series overall, I feel like slowly declined just because it was so repetitive after each book. Everyone was so upset all the time, or like, it felt very dramatic or overly dramatic a lot of the times. Next, alright, Sinful King. I don't remember much about this book, to be honest. I do remember it being like a TikTok recommendation, and I just didn't like it that much. I think I would put it as average. It was just like a very basic romance book that just didn't stand out to me. Alright, let's do another series. Once Upon a Broken Heart. I can't remember which comes second. I think it's The Ballad of Never After and then A Curse for True Love. These were okay. I didn't mind them. They're quite enjoyable. They didn't stand out to me enough to be 5 stars. It just felt like a very regular kind of fantasy romance, which is fine. But they were more than average. So they're going in quite enjoyable. I'm not good at this. I'm so indecisive. Okay. These Violent Delights. This book I only read because my friend was getting rid of her physical copy books, and this was one of them. And I had gone interstate for placement and I needed something to read, so I read it and I actually found it quite enjoyable. This book was not my usual type of book, but it was good. It was kind of like a Romeo Juliet version, but like based in China, I think. I think it was China. It was either China or Hong Kong. The only reason I gave it 4 stars as opposed to 5 is that it was just elements of the book that I was not interested in. For a 5-star book, I have to enjoy the whole thing, and that book was just missing parts where I couldn't keep my attention span, but it was still pretty good. The Celery Juice book. Listen, I've heard online so much about how celery juice changes your life, so I decided to read the book and it was just not making any sense. Like, this thing gave me memory loss, honestly. I wanted it to be good. It just made me upset instead, which is not a good way to feel after a book. Alright, next. Triple Duty Bodyguards. This book, oh my goodness. I liked reading it, however, it was really creepy. Like, reading books about stalkers just creeps me out. Being obsessed over is genuinely scary to me. Like, that is a fear. I must admit, I didn't like the romance. I didn't read it for the romance at all. I literally read it for the plot. This is why it's quite enjoyable, but not a 5 stars, because the romance was shit. I've been yapping for a while. I don't even know if this is worth watching, so if you're still here, I love you. Tis the Season for Revenge. I freaking love this book. This book's going up here. I didn't expect to like it. I didn't. But it was really good. Do you know what I liked about it? It was about this girl. She's a bad bitch and she doesn't even realise. And her mid-as-hell boyfriend breaks up with her and she decides to get revenge on this man by dating his boss. And seeing the way that it unfolds and the satisfaction you get from seeing her ex-boyfriend, the way he reacts at the end, it's just so satisfying. And I love the way the boss treats her. She gets her spark back, like she's herself. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. There was not a single bad bit in that book. Smarter Not Harder. I don't think I finished this book. It was horrific. It was just Talking Nonsense. Revived. This book, I also freaking loved it. Okay, this was such an unexpected 5-star book because it started off and I hated it. The way that the main guy was talking about the main girl was just so like, that was the only part I didn't like. The rest of it I enjoyed so much that I totally like let that part go over my head. I just really liked the way that it ended. I loved the character development. I loved the way that the guy like accepted her son. Like, I don't know, the ending was just really wholesome and sweet. It's the kind of ending that you want to see in a book. I really liked it. Black Ties and White Lies. This book, it was quite enjoyable, I would say. Yes. When you read a romance book, sometimes there are just books that are good and there are books that are really good. And this book was just good. It didn't stand out, but it was enjoyable. I just didn't like the way that it jumped into the romance so quickly at the beginning. Like, I need a bit of context. I need to see the relationship build. I just didn't like how it just jumped straight in. That was not my vibe. Reckless Hands, oh my god. Why did I even try this book? This book was so painful. I can't even remember what it was about, to be honest. I just remember that it was extremely painful to read, but I did it anyways because I'm one of those poor suckers that find themselves needing to finish every book they read. Next, How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book was very average, in my opinion. It could have been compacted into like a smaller book or like an article. It didn't need to be that long, but I do think there were some good points within the book. Tokyo Ever After, I can't really remember much about it, so I'm thinking maybe it was very average then if I couldn't remember much about it. I vaguely remember it was enjoyable, but it wasn't like anything exciting. I think it's quite a young adult book, so it felt very lighthearted and just tailored for a younger audience. Mine, who is this by? Is this AK Rose? Oh my god, I didn't finish mine. I can't even remember what it was about. Wait, did I finish that book? The Tibetan Book of Living and Dying. I didn't finish this either. I wish I could have. It's just, it was a lot of intense reading. I think at that time, I just wanted to read a book. I didn't want to have to sit down and really think about what I was reading. And that is definitely one of those books. 13. 13 is not the kind of book I would usually read, but it was really good. I freaking loved it. It was so creepy. It's about a serial killer that is trying to get on the jury duty of the crime that he framed for this guy. The guy who wrote this book did such a good job of like portraying a serial killer's mind. It was really good. I recommend it. Next, the Shatter Me series. I only read 3 of these books. I didn't read the whole series because, oh my god, there's so many and I have to really like the series to read the whole thing. Say it's, I don't know. I'm debating between putting it in quite enjoyable or average because looking back, it didn't really excite me as much as people said it would, or like, I think it was just hyped up so much that I expected more. I didn't like the guy in the book. The only guy I liked was the Asian one. He was funny. I'm gonna say very average. No, I'm having a really hard time with this, guys. Honestly, I'm gonna say it was pretty average. It's quite borderline between average and enjoyable. I think overall I would give it 3 stars. Maybe Shatter Me could be quite enjoyable. Next time I do a tier ranking, I'm just gonna do the numbers because this is too much. Next, 8 Rules of Love. This was average. I liked Jay Shetty's other like self-help book, Think Like a Monk. I'm gonna put that in quite enjoyable while we're here talking about Jay Shetty. I read Think Like a Monk first and I liked it. I liked how it was quite like organized in sections. There were sections for you to do as you read the book. So it was sort of like you were practicing things that the book suggested as you read it, which I really liked. So I had high expectations for 8 Rules of Love, but it just didn't quite do as well in my mind as Think Like a Monk. Next, Before Jamaica Lane. This one gave me memory loss. I can't tell you what it was about. Oh, I can kind of tell you, but honestly, I don't remember any of the context of the book. Like, none of it was, the plot wasn't there. If you want like a romance book, there are better ones out there. Room Hate. Oh, I think this one gave me a memory loss too because I can't remember what it's about. In the Flow. This book, I loved it. It changed my life. It's about everything to do with your period. So men, this would be applicable to you, because if you've got a girlfriend, a mum, a sister, which I know you've probably got at least one of those, or a friend, a female friend, this book could be helpful. Actually, you know what? This might be Roman Empire. Like, I think about this daily. Like, this changed the way that I treat my day-to-day life. So that makes sense that it goes in Roman Empire. It's basically talking about cycle syncing, which I know there's not much research behind it, and like she does kind of mention that, but I just thought like it's worth giving a read, it's worth giving a try. And you also feel so validated reading this book when you think about, oh, why do I feel this way during this time? Why do I feel like this? Why am I experiencing this? It all makes sense when you read the book. It's just, you feel validated and it helps. And my periods have gotten way better since reading this book and sort of implementing what it includes. So I'm all for it. I recommend it. Sunrise on the Reaping, I freaking love this book. Oh, this book was so sad. I feel like everyone and their dog read this book this year. It was just so sad. The ending was tragic. I'm so excited for the movie. Poor Haymitch, honestly. Next, Icebreaker. Okay, unpopular opinion, I actually really like this book. In fact, I freaking loved it. I have heard so many bad things about it. I won't lie, I kind of enjoyed it. Like, there was nothing bad about the book to me, other than her freaking ice skating partner who was a pain in the butt, you know, but he adds to the story. I'm not like a professional reader. I don't do this for work. Like, I just do it for fun, and there was nothing bad to say about it, so I freaking loved it. Okay, the Wim Hof Method, I would say it was quite enjoyable. Yeah, it wasn't 5 stars. Again, it's really hard for me to rate self-help books 5 stars, which there are some out there that I have rated 5 stars, so if that's going to be a video, someone let me know. It was good. I've done his like breathing techniques before, and I've listened to his podcasts, or like podcasts where he's a guest, and I did really enjoy it. And I think the book was just a way to remind me of kind of the stuff that he talks about and to like implement it back into my life. So it was pretty good. Sweetest Oblivion, that was so average. Anchored, this is a book about nervous system regulation. I unfortunately could not finish it. It was recommended to me by a friend, and it has potential, but it's just very intense. I think I have a background of like healthcare knowledge, so it was easier for me to read, but I was reading Goodread comments, and some people really struggle to get through it because it's just so much knowledge and information that if you don't know the basic principles behind your nervous system and whatnot, you would struggle to read it. And honestly, I couldn't keep my attention span. All the words, again, were going in one eye and out the other, so I didn't finish it. And I didn't finish the 4 Agreements either. I got about 1 chapter, so don't even ask me what that was about. Say You Swear. Say You Swear. Say You Swear is my Roman Empire. I loved this book. If I cry when reading a book, it's a 5 stars. Because I don't cry very often when I read books, and this one was just great. I loved it. I was sobbing at the end. Okay, this is my problem. I can only remember the way that I felt when reading a book as opposed to what the book was about. And I just remember feeling so intensely in that book. A Perfect Vintage, that was quite enjoyable. It kind of reminds me of The Sweetest Oblivion, but like less mafia-ish, less arranged marriages and whatnot, and more just like working in that sort of summer French vintage kind of household. Alright, we're almost done, guys. The Things I Carried, this was quite enjoyable. I liked it. This was recommended to me by a friend. It's a war book that's filled with lots of little short stories written by this one guy. Some of the stories I couldn't keep my attention in, but other of them were quite interesting to read. The last series, this is the most recent one that I've read, The Jewel. This series has such a special place in my heart. I first discovered The Jewel when I was going through the library in high school. I borrowed it and I read it and I fell in love, and I read it like 4 times. And then I literally waited years for each of the other books to come out. And then I forgot about it for like 8 years. And I added it to my read list randomly one day because it popped up in my mind. And I read it early this December and it was so good. I was really scared that it would not live up to what I thought it was back in the day. Reading styles change, what you're interested in changes, but it lived up to it. I loved it. The Jewel is my Roman Empire. The fact that I still remember it 8 years later, says enough. The White Rose, which is the second one, I freaking loved it. Not a Roman Empire, but it was so good. And then the Black Key, which is the last one, Roman Empire. I cried reading that last book. Let me explain what the series is about. It feels like a mix between like a romance fantasy book and The Hunger Games. The way that the world is set up feels very dystopian and very like segregated, and the young girls of like the lower class areas, if they're like special in a way, they have to be surrogates for the inner class royalties at the center of this city. It's such a unique story. I love the plot. There is romance, but honestly, reading it I liked the romance as a kid, but reading it now, I was not reading it for the romance. I was reading it for the plot, 100%. The way that that last book ended, I saw myself in them a little bit, and just seeing them being free. I was like, wow, I love that for them. Okay, that's everything. That's everything tier ranked. I'm currently waiting on the Crescent City series to arrive for me to read. I'm very excited for that. I've read all the Sarah J Maas series besides that one. So I've read Throne of Glass and ACOTAR. Throne of Glass is impeccable, just on a side note. Yes, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. I yapped a lot. I don't even know if any of what I said made sense, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless.